Hi, Gaia. It's just us.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey
Meet
guys,
Tom. Meet Tom.
Hi, Tom.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. Very good, thanks.
So, so we don't have too many people. We'll wait a couple more minutes because I know Eileen was going to be here and Eric and I think somebody else. So we'll wait a couple more minutes and then we'll just start and record it. And if nothing else, we'll have it on our vault so people can watch after the fact. Um, oh, there it is. Sure then. So, hello, Sherry. Sherry? And I think we will wait one more minute. If you want to drop in the chat, where are you today and how are you doing? I am in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're having a great weather. And I'm feeling great today. We had some fascinating, some fun announcements today. We announced closing our seed round of funding, and definitely big announcement for us. Feeling happy and calm. Yeah. So I will go ahead and introduce you, Tom. Tom has 12 years of experience in facilitating healing in different ways to optimize the body, mind, relationships, career, and every other dimension of our lives through his own healing journey of overcoming an eating disorder, addictive tendencies, and a lifetime of compulsive perfectionism. Very excited to have you, Tom, join us today. And I making sure recording is on, and I will set it up so that you are pinned, and you go ahead, Tom.
Good to go? Can you guys hear me good?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that intro. So I'm Tom, and I really wanted to take today and just like introduce you to a fun practice that I like to do every single day. A lot of people don't fully understand me. I'm someone who likes to have his feet in both worlds, right? Like I'm firmly planted in the scientific realm and I'm firmly planted in the esoteric and the spiritual. And I love to see the intersection of the two. And so this is what's fascinating to me. The body, reality, everything is constantly vibrating, right? And to actually truly have a healthy body, a healthy mind, it requires us to always be in this state of coherence and resonance. And, if you really look at things like light, for example, sound, electricity, electromagnetism, these are all just vibrations, right? And we can work with them all. And what's so fascinating is they can all be used individually to heal the body. You can also use them together, which we're kind of going to do today, to induce a state of healing, to induce a state of coherence. And even mathematically, right? If we were to actually take a look at what all of those are, they are the same thing expressed differently. It's the same phenomena that's being subjectively received and perceived differently. So if I take a look at light, electricity, electromagnetism, sound, they're all different phases of the same thing. In the same way that I can take water and see it as a solid, a liquid, a gas, a gel, which is a great conversation for a separate day, but it exists as a gel-like substance as well. Same thing, it's all H2O, but expressed differently, and you can work with it differently, you can measure it differently, you can do things differently with it, right? So same thing with these things. And the body, of course, is what? It's a giant walking battery, right? And all we have to do is not get in the way of this battery being properly charged at all times, right? Most of the time when you see illness and disease is because cells stop working the way they're supposed to, right? So how do we prevent that from happening? Well, what impedes a cell's ability to carry out its functions properly? If you could look at Dr. Jeffrey Tennant's work, right? Healing is voltage. He'll tell you a healthy cell needs to operate at a minus 25 millivolt voltage. But for the body to heal and recover and actually produce new cells, you need a millivoltage of about minus 50. Okay, great. What's gonna get in the way of that? Well, stress, for one. Stress is huge. Just a poor diet and poor lifestyle, poor movement, right? Not being exposed to nature, which is huge, because what does nature do? It donates electrons, right? Electrons do what for us? In the same way that we consume food, which gives us antioxidants, it fights off oxidative stress and inflammation, it donates electrons, right? Because when the body has ample electrons, there's all these reactive oxygen species that just aren't running rampant, right? And stealing your body's electrons. So your cells maintain a healthier voltage, right? So navigating stress, emotions can actually change the body electromagnetically, right? And we can measure this too, which is really cool. And actually, for the past 5 years, I had a neurofeedback business that I was running. So we were measuring the electrical output of the brain. Now, what's cool, and I spent time studying with the HeartMath Institute as well. The heart has its own electromagnetic field that is 60 times greater in amplitude than the brain, right? And using breath work or emotions, using certain emotions, you can measure things differently in the body. And what that does chemically and biochemically, electrically, right? But what's fascinating to me is also light, right? And so the effect that light has on the body and where we're getting that from. And, when we're in a state of stress, you can actually measure biophotons, right? With very specific kinds of thermography. And you can see that the body leaks light when we're in a state of stress or inflammation or quote unquote dis-ease, right? And a healthy body is just vibrant, it's glowing in a very real way. So light, electricity, electromagnetism, sound, all your cells have these little receptors, these little cilia that actually pick up on vibrations, right? And there's very healing frequencies and not so healing frequencies. And so you can use sound. And there's actually really cool work being done where they can isolate the frequency of a healthy cell and then figure out what sounds to direct to that cell. So if I can figure out what a healthy liver cell sounds like, right, I can train unhealthy liver cells back into a healthy state, right? Which is pretty cool. And you can also do this with cancer cells and things like that. So that's a really cool, fascinating field. So we are walking batteries. We have this huge electromagnetic field around us that can be measured, 3, 6, with really sensitive instruments, 12 feet out, right? Probably more. But as far as we can measure right now. And today we're going to play a little bit with that, right? We're going to see how we can actually use breath and emotion, and we can use sound to actually amplify our body's natural field. And you guys might actually feel that difference. You're definitely going to feel it internally, but you might also feel it with your hands. So I want you first to just kind of rub your hands together, clap them up a little bit, right? A little blood in there. Now you're just going to separate them. And some of you already may be familiar with this, right? You're just going to try to see if you can bring them closer and further and see if you can feel this sort of almost electromagnetic pushback, right? The same way you might take two magnets and they're kind of repelling one another. It might also feel a little bit like you're pulling taffy, right? Coming closer and further. You can kind of rotate your hands this way and just see if you can feel that there is this little field in there, right? We're going to amplify that field, all right? So I'm going to take you through a little practice that's going to involve some breath work. It's going to involve some sound making. And I'm going to give you quick context for the breath work, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a state of coherence, right? So earlier I mentioned that a healthy body needs to have healthy voltage. It needs healthy, smooth patterns in its heart rhythm, heart rate, heartbeat variability. This field interfaces with the brain's field as well. And what's cool is that the Heart Math Institute found out that by simply breathing in and out for a count of 5, so 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, you can start to create these very smooth sine-like waves with the heart, right? And when you weave and bring in emotions such as love and kindness and gratitude and appreciation, you can see that effect exponentially go up, right? And what's cool is that this field then interfaces with the brain's electromagnetic field, and you can actually in real time also measure, and I've seen this and I've done this, that the brain's brainwaves start to become more coherent, right? And smooth. And what's cool about that is suddenly we move from going and living in a fear, fight, or flight state, which is in the amygdala in your limbic system, right? The reptilian part of the brain. And you see an increase in oxygenation and blood flow into your frontal lobes, right? And what's cool as well is that your body starts to, your heart, in fact, starts to release oxytocin, right? And what I love about oxytocin is just makes us feel super warm and fuzzy and cuddly and just connected, right? It's the connecting hormone. But what it also does is it helps the body release more nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is wonderful because it does what? It's super antiviral, which is something that we probably all could use a little more of. But it also acts as a vasodilator. So it dilates your blood vessels, right? So you got better blood flow, you got better, just a better feeling state. So there's all these different things happening biochemically inside the body. So we're going to start off with some coherence breathing, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, right? And then we're going to start to engage in sound exercises. So I'm going to show you the exercise, and then we're going to do it all together, okay? And the purpose of the sounds is not so much the sound that you're making, so much as the actual physical resonance that you're trying to create inside the body, right? The actual vibration inside the body. And we're going to spin the sound up and over in a circle like this. It's a microcosmic orbit. And the idea is to just get the body to naturally, with your intention and with these very physical vibrations, to be moving that in and out. All right. And it's going to amplify the field around you when we do this. So what are the sounds? First one, HMM. All right. Everyone, just do it together. And I apologize if you're doing this in public. If you're in public, just don't do it. Watch the replay. But the first sound is right? And you're going to feel it right there below your diaphragm, right there below your belly button. Second sound, HAI, right? You can put your hands where your kidneys are, all right? And the sound is hey, 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 hey. You want to feel your kidneys pulse, okay? So again, you're starting from the bottom. Hey, hey. Third sound, EUN. You can place your fingers on the top of your head and see if you could feel the resonance and the vibration here at the top of the head. So now we're all the way up here. Next sound, ONG, not OM, but OM, right? ONG. Place your hands on your temples. You want to feel it here, okay? Last sound is ah, A-H. Ah, hands on your heart, exactly where you think it would be. And you want to feel the vibration as you're doing it. So you're not making the sounds necessarily for the sake of making the sounds. You're trying to connect with the vibration, the actual physical resonance of that, all right? So we're going to start off with the coherence breathing. We're going to move into the sounds, all right? So I'm going to recommend maybe finding a nice comfortable position to do this in, ideally seated, all right? Helps to close your eyes, so it really gets you into the right state. So now everyone together, eyes closed. And now we're going to start to inhale, and we're going to really try to focus on inhaling and exhaling with the nose as best you can. So we're going to inhale for a count of 5. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And visualize as you continue to breathe in that pattern, the breath flowing into and out from the center of the chest. So you're visualizing the breath flowing into the center of the chest and then flowing out. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Smooth flow in and out. Again, just seeing that breath flowing into the center of the chest and out from that same space. Feeling your whole body breathing as you're doing so. Now with your eyes still closed, all together, we're going to start to make the first sound. Moving on to the next sound. Hey, 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 hey. Third sound. Hey, 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 hey. 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 Now continue to breathe very slowly and very gently. And on the inhale, with your eyes still closed, I want you to visualize light just pouring into your body, every single cell filling up with light. And then exhale. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine that you're exhaling love. Feel into what love feels like. Move into that feeling, that emotion of love, and just send it out. Send that out to this group. Everyone on this call, everyone watching the replay. Just continue to breathe in light. And exhale love. Breathing the light, filling up every last part of the body with that. And moving into feeling love and sharing and sending that to everyone. Just allow yourselves to do that for a few cycles. very slowly and very gently, whenever you're ready, at your own pace, in your own time, you're going to start to open your eyes, rub your hands together, and just grounding yourselves back in the body. And this is a shortened version of the practice. You can really extend this practice and do those sound exercises for a longer period of time and extend the breathing practice both before and after. But now that we kind of did that, I want us all to kind of go back to seeing what this feels like. See if you can actually feel an almost amplification of that electromagnetic field around the body. There's only so many people that I can see, but raise of hands if you can feel that this actually really started to, like, you can actually feel like you can even go further out while doing this, right? And this is just a simple, easy, fun way to play with this, right? Yeah. And it's beautiful because this is what we're made of. And I think one of the most poetic things about this for me is that if you really think about this, right? And if we accept that all these different vibrations are essentially the same phenomenon expressed differently, right? As sound, as electricity, or as light. And that we can affect that by simply changing our internal state. And especially with a sensation like love, the fact that we can equate love and light in a very real, tangible way, I think is beautiful. But I wanted to share this practice with you guys today, share this with the group, with the community. And I want to give you guys a huge happy holiday. Whatever you're celebrating, wherever you're celebrating, wishing you a lot of love. And thank you for taking this time and sharing the space with me.
Wow, Tom, thank you so much for doing this. This is really, I love this practice. I really enjoy this. Makes it very visceral to feel our inner energy.
Mm-hmm.
If we're a small group tonight, if anybody wants to drop any comment in the chat, how was this experience? Would love to get everybody's comments here. And also, I want to introduce you, Kromila, who will be our guest next week. So, one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. How fun.
It is fun. And I think for me, it's great as an experience because you can actually feel, you know, and I feel like sometimes when you hear people talk about intuitives or these people who have sensations or just these abilities, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and all these other different things, right? Or even one of the partners that I used to work with, he's an acupuncturist, and he can really truly feel everything. You know, he'll take a nerve where he'll hold a nerve and be like, oh, no, you know, like he can really tune into what that field is like. And I think so many of us are under the impression that, oh, these people are special, or there's something that they can do that I can't. And really, it's just really developing the sensitivity for that. And it's a very real thing. And I'm happy to show people that A, it is real. B, you can feel it, you can practice, you can hone it, you can grow it, develop it, use it as your own personal healing force, because we are self-healing machines. You know, it's just a matter of allowing the body to get into that state where it can just do what it naturally knows how to do it. You know, yeah.
So I studied, actually got a Reiki master many years ago, and I think one of the first sessions, maybe even before we started the course, I was taught that practice, and we stood next to other people and had our hands in front of and behind their hearts and just did the same movement but in front of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it made them experience that in a very powerful way. So
Absolutely.
do try that at home.
No, and I studied Reiki myself as well. And I gotta say, like, I think this is something, there's any geeks out there who want to dive deeper into this, I think I know what it is that they're tapping into and drawing from. So we talked about electromagnetism, right? But what precedes electromagnetism? What gives rise to that, right? And it's actually scalar energy or scalar physics, right? Scalar light, SCALAR. And it's sort of almost like that primordial source of from which everything else extends from, all these other different vibrations and forms of energy. And truly, if you study how it operates and the way it moves in spiral directions, and the way the Reiki masters and all these other different individuals, when they talk about their energy work, I really think this is what we're naturally channeling and using. And it infuses every single part of reality too, which is fascinating. So we are literally walking light. Yeah.
So really appreciate that. That's really awesome. Really enjoyed it, Tom. And next week, for our community members, we have Komela, who you guys have met, and she will be working with us on communication, the secrets of good communication. So really looking forward to that. Great to see you both, all of you, and all of those that will watch the replay. Tom, really appreciate that. You guys feel free to unmute and let's say a really loud and wonderful good night to each other.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Good night.
That was really great, Tom. Thank you so much.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.